Hello friends, welcome to Foxu Tech. So today we're gonna see DaemonSet from the Kubernetes. As we are seeing most of the Kubernetes related topics, and this is one another. And in this, we're gonna see what is DaemonSet and how it works, and also how we can configure it and how to understand what are the pods it's running. And along with that, we're gonna see some few interesting things like some use case, why there is the daemon set is used, and why there is none of the sub particular resource is not using a daemon set, right? And also we're gonna see um, how we can avoid this daemon set to be set for all the nodes. And also let's see in the coming video, we're gonna see how to troubleshoot the daemon sets. Okay, so let's start. So first of all, what is daemon set? So we should understand what is daemon set. Daemon set is nothing but it's a feature used to ensure the pod, whatever you are scheduling, so that should be scheduled on all the nodes in the Kubernetes. Okay, so there will be a selected use case for this, but this is a great feature. Sometimes we need to run all the things. You don't need to mention this should be running on all the nodes, and this is the daemon set responsibilities. Make sure that there is a controller in the daemon set that makes sure that whatever the nodes getting added to the Kubernetes cluster, that in that the new pod will be automatically scheduled. Okay, and you can ask, oh, it can be done by the scheduler, but when you are mentioning as a daemon set controller will be a precedence here, and the scheduler doesn't take any actions. If there is a daemon set, it will be completely managed by daemon set controller. So scheduler won't do any actions. Okay, so that is how the Kubernetes daemon set will be managing it, and Kubernetes may daemon set control take a complete administration part, and it will take care and make sure the all the pods or the pods whatever you are mentioning, it will be completely deployed to the new nodes. Okay, so how this works, right? So the daemon set controller will be keep monitor the nodes, and if there is a nodes existing nodes, so automatically it does pod deployment when you deploy a new daemon set, and it will deploys on the existing nodes. Let's assume there is a new node coming to the cluster. So there it detected there is a new node. So immediately what it does, it deploys a pod, same pod onto the new node also. So with that, what we can make sure there is a new, whenever there is a node is present, so that also will be taken care. Let's assume like the node is no more exit, right? What happens? Daemon set drawn this particular pod, and just make sure wherever there is only available nodes, only those will be used. Okay, so that is a major role of daemon set controller, and it takes care automatically those parts. Okay, so you can ask another thing. So why I need a daemon set? So it's the most important thing to understand what is daemon set and what is a stateful set when it's being used, and deployments, right? So what is daemon set? What we have seen, one or more pods can be across the cluster. Each node we have to deploy it. Okay, it doesn't have any persistence IDs or doesn't have any kind of a persistence storage. It's optional in case if your application required. Yes, it's needed, but it's completely not required, right? So second thing, so let's assume like you have a, what is stateful set? So stateful set is nothing but you need a persistence IDs. Let's assume you have an application and that's need a selected name pattern to be followed instead of random generated one. So you can use a stateful. So this mostly used for the database and database related data related stuffs. That's only use case because we don't want to lose the data. Otherwise, it's kind of a stateful application wherever you want the multiple use case, you can use a stateful. If you want more details, there is a blog published. I'll add it into the description. You can read that. So next is a deployment. You know about it very well. Like whatever we are mentioning on the deployment file, how many pods we want with the replicas, and it will deploy it on the wherever you want. And additionally, there is a lot of things we can add it. So you can mention like which node you want to schedule or which node you don't want to schedule. And also with the deployment patterns, you can do the deployments, right? So with that, what we understand, so even the daemon set can do the same thing, almost deployment, but deployments doesn't make sure the pod is running on all the nodes. That's a one major difference. Even the stateful doesn't take case. Wherever there is a availability, so it just plays the pods onto the respective nodes. It doesn't matter there is a single pod should be running on all the nodes. Okay, that's a big advantage on the daemon set. Okay, when we can use the daemon set, so there is select an use case. First case is obviously the log collections. We need to use the log collection for all our application. Maybe you're running a multiple pods or multiple application on the nodes, and there you may need to read the some 10 logs, and you have to push it to your destination log of processor, right? It can be a Splunk, or it can be a Elk Stack, or it can be any third party vendors. So the tools like a FluentD or Logstash will be most useful case here. So those we have to run it in the each nodes, right? That time you can put it as a daemon set. It's make sure running on all the nodes. Second thing is, if you are using any kind of microservice or the storages, cluster storages, so cluster D or chef, so even that will be useful with a daemon set. Next, so you want to perform any kind of a log rotation on your system, right? It's not by default, some of the application doesn't have, or sometimes there will be limitations. You have written kind of a own mechanism or some third-party vendor mechanism you want to use it. So you can put it on the daemons and you can use it in the certain nodes, right? And another thing, like you have some kind of external monitoring, like a node problem detector kind of application. So those kind of application will be so useful. So and it has to be run it on all the nodes, right? So to identify that, this you can use this kind of a tools, daemon set. And Prometheus node exporters, there is something like you want to read it on all the nodes. You don't use any kind of a metric server, or you want to more extended way of monitoring it. So you can use a node exporter or collect D. So you can use it for the daemon set, right? And also you want to store the cache on multiple systems. So you want to make sure there is no data is processing as the cache. Due to cache, your application is going slow or something. So that time you can use this kind of daemon set, and that make sure the data has been populated across all the nodes, and wherever the application go deployed, and the data will be read and it will be served to the users very quickly, right? So these are the use cases on the daemon set. And the next thing is, let's say about the sample manifest and what are the details we need to be make sure it's present on the daemon set. So this is the sample manifest of the daemon set. There you can see that there are two things. It will be more similar to your deployment file, but there is a two identical things are the standalone spec. We have to use it. One is the selector. So selector is nothing but you have to mention the labels very exactly, and you have to make sure this is not changed at any time. So if you change this selector, what happens? As mentioned, so the daemon set will be get orphaned and you cannot maintain it. Okay, so you can either you can use a match label or match expression for the complex selectors, but this should be mandatory and this should be very static on any update you are performing. This should not be changed at any time. Okay. And next is a template. So template will be used to mention any, again, the match labels to make sure that it's been used. And also you need to make sure that whenever you're mentioning a template, make sure there is a restart always it's been set. By default, it's been set, but even though more specifically, you can mention if you wish, but you should not change it at any time. Okay. Otherwise, let's say like what percent or something, so your node is not, you may like you may face issues like restart some due to some issue the pod is down and it's trying to come up. If it's not restart always, so it may stuck in the one certain point and you may lose the purpose of the daemon set. Okay, always make sure there is a restart set, always is set, or just don't mention, it will take care by the default. Okay, and okay, so that's just introduction about the daemon set. And let's quickly jump into the real-time scenarios. Or you may see whenever you're working on the clusters, you may see these two tools. One is kube-proxy and another one is kube-DNS, right? So when you see the kube-DNS is part of a deployment and kube-proxy is not kube-proxy is part of daemon set. Why kube-proxy is part of daemon set and why kube-DNS part of deployment, right? So there is a different use case. Let's say like a kube DNS, it doesn't need to be part of all the nodes because it's responsibility to resolve the IPs, but it's been shared across, right? So it can be deployment any node. It can be as it's in a particular cluster. It no need to be part of any all the nodes. It can be in a single node and it can serve all the required. In case there is a more replicas, more CPU consumption is needed, obviously there is a deployments are there. We can put a more replicas and it will be replicated to the another node and it serves our purpose. But kube-proxy is not like that because it should be part of all the nodes. To make sure there is a run the IP tables and it should monitor that automatically there is any kind of nodes are coming or any how the tables are working. So those things it has to be managed by the person that is kube-proxy. So to make sure that is why that is part of a daemon set. Kube DNS is part of a deployment. Okay, and the next question will be there like I want to have a I don't want to run my deployment set to be run, or I have a multiple deployment set and there is a selected use cases, right? So how do we make sure that um, how do you make sure that like I want to schedule my daemon set to be run it on selected nodes. I don't want to run it on all the nodes, or I don't want to run it across everywhere, right? Because there will be a selected use cases. So daemon set, even for the daemon set, we may have. In case we don't have, it's fine. But in case there is a requirement or something is coming up, let's say like you have two storage. One is like a cluster and one is Chef. And Chef is used for selected application, Raspberry is for another application. So in that case, you can't put just simply mount across all the nodes, right? You need to mount only wherever there is application is running. So what you can do, you can make use of tolerance. So the tolerance will make sure the pod will be used selected key values, right? So whenever you see that difference, like if there is a TS node 1, so the key has been effect for no schedule. Whenever there is a DS1, 2 set, so only those selected nodes will be scheduled. If there is a different values have been set, so what happens, that node will be skipped. So you can see another daemon set can be referred to the selected nodes, and that can be referred wherever there is no key values, so that node will be skipped or found. So that is how you can differentiate your use cases and you can use a daemon set. Well, right. Okay, so hope this video is useful, guys. Please keep subscribers, and if you want more details, please put it on the comment. We'll try to cover it as much as possible. And please subscribe us if you like our videos. If you have any feedback, please feel free to share it. Thank you. Thanks for your time. Have a great day. Bye bye.